made her uneasy, and so did its twin sitting upstairs on Fletcher's bookshelf. They'd given her the jitters from the first moment she saw them. With the fur on her neck prickling, she sniffed deeper, this time perceiving the sense of something ancient and cruel. She twitched her tail nervously, hoping the old jars would stay put where they were, far up and out of reach. What she wished even more was that they'd never been brought into the house in the first place. She stood, glaring at the hateful thing, when a sharp clank sounded in the kitchen, startling her. She whirled around, and with a soft snarl rumbling in her throat, she crept into the dark hallway to inspect the noise. An aroma of steaming vanilla, along with a few herbs she couldn't name, seeped up her nose, and her pounding heart slowed. "Aunt Caroline," she growled. It was just Fletcher's aunt making a cup of tea. She'd come to stay with them during Fletcher's spring break, while his father was away at the Florida Weather Forecasters Convention. Nim supposed it was a nice thing for the woman to do, but really, Fletcher was her friend, and it was her job to protect him. She frowned, remembering that Aunt Caroline would be taking him out for a picnic tomorrow with fresh lemonade and sandwiches cut into little triangles. Nim peeked at the front door. Her shoulders slumped, and she took a step back. There was nothing good outside, and she always worried for Fletcher when he left the house. She had just turned to make her way up to his room to continue her nightly inspections when the sight of another black cat drew a hiss from her mouth and made the fur rise on her back. But it was nothing more than her own reflection peering out from the tall mirror on the wall. Only a young black cat with an old, injured foreleg. Embarrassed, she glanced around, pleased no one else had witnessed her foolishness. "Stop being such a scaredy cat," she scolded herself. She padded her way up the staircase, and when she slipped through the half-opened door into Fletcher's room, her spirits lifted. He was sitting up in bed, dressed in his pajamas with the wizard hats and wands on them. The light of the nearby lamp gleamed off the lenses of his round eyeglasses, and tufts of his fair hair stuck up like chicken feathers. He needed grooming. "Where did I put those pliers?" he muttered as he patted the top of the starry-patterned bedspread. He leaned over and rummaged through the drawer of his bedside table. "Ah, here they are." Nim glanced around Fletcher's domain, comforted by the tug of her bright green collar, the one Fletcher had chosen because it matched the color of her eyes. And he was the one who'd attached the identification tag to it, the small gold disc engraved with the family's phone number and the name he'd given her when they first met. Nimbus. She smiled as she began her nightly patrol of the room, carefully inspecting everything to make sure no insects or lizards had invaded. She passed the rumpled socks and t-shirts strewn across the floor. They smelled like Fletcher, like the pages of a well-read book, along with tree bark, chocolate, and oak leaves. She strode to the tall bookcase and sniffed at the magical fantasy titles lining its lower shelf. She rubbed her cheek against The Hobbit, Fletcher's favorite, and the story he'd read to her when she was recovering from her injuries. Up on the bed, Fletcher huffed with annoyance, then frowned at an item lying on his lap. Using the pliers, he tried to pry something from it. He was always working on projects and studying interesting objects, and not for the first time, Nim wondered if there was anyone else in the world as smart and curious and talented as him. Her heart swelled with pride. He especially liked things that he found in nature. His favorite discovery was the old gray arrowhead. She glanced up at the empty spot on the wall above his bed, the place where his prized arrow usually hung. "Aunt Caroline," she growled again. The woman had taken it to the antique fair that morning to have it appraised, then forgot to return it to his room. Nim didn't appreciate such careless...